Okay, we're counting down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hi, everyone.
We're live.
We're live. Good to see you all.
Yeah, welcome again. This is our 4th stream we're calling live stream. Hey, you guys, everyone's watching.
Hi,
Howard and
Eugenia,
everybody, and Tom. And Eugene, Chris Farrell, hey kid, David Fink.
Hi,
okay,
David.
So let's see. Hi Mary. Okay, we're going to talk to you guys in a minute, but we're going to move on with the story. So in my newsletter, I talked about this little mystery, and and I'm going to show you what happened. So I get this call from London one evening, very mysterious call, and the lady at the other end of the phone says, "Are you Corky Siegel?" And I said, "Yes." And she says, "Do you have a sister named Joy?" And I said, "Yes." And she says, "Did you live at 8000 South Euclid?"
In Chicago?
In Chicago, yeah.
Yes.
And I said, "Yes." And then she says, "Well, I have something that is passed from the 40s, hand in hand and hand in hand. I'm in London now. I have this."
She lives in London.
Yeah, lives in London. I'm coming to San Francisco, and I'm going to make a stop in Chicago. And I believe I have something that was yours when you were a little baby. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to show you guys what it is. It was quite a mystery. Yeah. Winnie the Pooh books from when I was a little baby. And this is what happened. So let me see if I could do this without blocking the camera. She saw this, Joy Isla Siegel. She was trying to find out who owned the books. And then here's Joy Isla Siegel, 8000 South Euclid, Chicago. But then she couldn't track down Joy.
It's difficult to read.
So if you could see this, yeah, it's very difficult to read, but you could see.
In childish scribbling.
Yeah, it says
Corky.
And she was able to figure that out and get these books to us from when
she went on the internet.
I was a little baby. And here she is with the books. Unbelievable. So I thought this was a nice little Winnie the Pooh quote here. "Sometimes the smallest things take up the most room in your heart." Winnie the Pooh. So those books just touched our heart completely. And for today, here's another quote from Winnie the Pooh. "Home is the comfiest place to be." Winnie the Pooh. So with that, I'm going to hand the iPhone over to Holly. A lot of people ask, "How are you filming this? What's the camera?" You okay, Holly? Yeah, you got it.
Okay. Oh, wait.
And so everyone should know, what's the iPhone? Is it the 10 or the 11? I don't know. Do you know what it is?
It's the 11.
Okay, the iPhone 11. Okay. So this song I'm going to play for you guys is called "One Boat, No Shore." So I think everyone could agree, especially now, that we're all in one boat and there's no shore. Certainly now. However, I wrote this song in 2016 because in 2016, early on in the year, I felt like we're all in one boat, all in the same boat. And there's no shore. So, this is for you. one boat, no shore. We need kindness, no room for hate anymore. There's no shore. We're all in one boat. We sail or we sink. Don't matter what anybody thinks, 'cause there's no shore. We're all in one boat. We are the captains who can steer this boat towards sweet, gentle waters to keep us afloat. With all our goodness, together and joyfully, we'll pour our loving hearts out for this democracy, 'cause we're all in the same boat. And there's no shore. Can't fool Mother Nature anymore. There's no shore. We're all in one boat. Oh, yeah. I better do another one really quick. This one's about reincarnation. Now, I don't believe in reincarnation, but I did in my last life. And there's a sing-along part in this for you. Let's see if I can get it for you. So sweet, so cool, so nice. So sweet, so cool, so nice. So that's your part, I'll let you know. Mexico, even stayed out of jail, flown the friendly skies, ridden on a rusty rail. I've done everything once, most things I've done twice, but I never had it so nice since I've been spending all my time with you. No, I never had it so nice since I've been spending all my time with you. Sitting on a rainbow, my hands right on the wheel. Just a little drizzle now and then made it all seem real. It's been a slice of some kind of paradise, but I never had it so nice since I've been spending all my time with you. No, I never had it so nice since I've been spending all my time with you. Back in the days of yore, a prehistoric creature many thousand years before. I've been everything and everyone somewhere in my past lives, but I never had it so nice just being me with you. No, I never had it so nice since I've been living in this life with you. No, I never had it so nice. Okay, now come over here because it's story time.
Pirouette.
Huh? Oh, my pirouette's right. Ooh, I'm getting dizzy now. Okay, so this was in the 1990s. when I get a call from Doc Severinsen. So this is about Doc Severinsen. But when I was a little kid, 8 years old, so let's see, that was I was born in 43, so that was 1950. I was taking clarinet lessons, and my family used to tell me about this fellow named Bobby Rosengarden. They said he's a drummer, he's a musician, just like you're trying to become a musician. And my whole life, I heard about Bobby Rosengarden. And this is, just so you know who he is, this is what I read in Wikipedia. Bobby Rosengarden began playing drums when he was 12 and later studied at the University of Michigan. And I tell you that my family talked about Bobby Rosengarden and said he was my cousin. I don't know if I said that. So he began playing drums at 12 and later studied at the University of Michigan. After playing drums in army bands in World War II, he moved to New York City, working in several groups between 1945 and 1948, before becoming a busy studio musician. He played at NBC and ABC from 1949 to 1974. He was on the Steve Allen Show, the Ernie Kovacs Show, Sing Along with Mitch, Johnny Carson's Tonight Show Band, and he led the band for the Dick Cavett Show, was the Bobby Rosengarden Orchestra. Through the years, Rosengarden was an active studio musician, recording with Duke Ellington, Billie Holiday, Quincy Jones, Peter Nero, Gil Evans, Miles Davis, Jerry Mulligan, Benny Goodman, Moondog, Dick Hyman, Arlo Guthrie, Carmen McRae, Benny King, Harry Belafonte, Barbra Streisand, Tony Bennett, and Jimi Hendrix. So, again, all my life I'm hearing about it. Never had any communication with him. Never attempted to communicate with him. Then one time I get this phone call from the management of Doc Severinsen that wanted me to do William Russo's 3 Pieces for Blues Band and Symphony Orchestra while he conducted various symphony orchestras. Maybe the first one was in Phoenix. And again, this was already, 1992 or 3 or 4. And I was really excited in meeting Doc, especially because I was going to ask him about my cousin, Bobby Rosengarden, who I never heard from. I never talked to him. Knew nothing about him other than seeing him on TV a couple times and saying that he was my cousin. And I'm really excited about meeting Doc also. And so there we are, backstage, and there's this long hall, and I'm at one end of the stage, and there appears Doc Severinsen. And as soon as he sees me, he says, "Are you Corky?" And I went, "Yes." And he says, "Your cousin Bobby says hello." Unbelievable. So Doc later, he told me that the reason he wanted to do this performance with me is because after the Johnny Carson show, he would come home to his nice home. He'd light a fire in the fireplace. And then, for relaxation, he would put on a record. And he said most of the time, it was my record with William Russo and the San Francisco Symphony. And he said sometimes he'd pull out the trumpet and play along with it. And that's why he wanted to do these symphonic tours with me. And speaking of meeting people backstage in the long hall behind the stage, I got to open for Phoebe Snow. And again, I was really excited about meeting Phoebe Snow. I mean, I just loved her so much. And there she is appearing at the other end of the hall. And I see her and I'm really excited about meeting her, but before I could say anything, she says, "Are you Corky?" And I says, "Yes." And she starts running up to me and she gives me this big hug and she says, "You're one of my main influences." And she started singing King Bee in my ear. Huh?
Sing it the way she said it.
I'm a king bee, buzzing round. Unbelievable. Okay, well, look, this is going to be a pretty short streaming, but I got another song to play. And I'm going to resort, just so you could follow me, I'm going to resort to
tricks.
some old tricks.
Well,
The old trick is Billie Jean. Where would you like me to stand, Harvey?
anywhere you like.
Anyway, go. Hey, Billie Jean, what you doing down here? Just down on your feet, a chuck-a-luck in your beer, huh? Now, I've been trying all week long. I've been just getting ready to go back home. I've been just getting ready to go back home. I've been... Come on. Hey, Billie Jean, I like your motorcycle style. Are we gonna make our time worthwhile? Don't you know I'm crazy about the natural stuff? You don't act like a lady, but you know how to love. I'm gonna get you, Billie Jean. Okay. Now,
Now, how are you getting up?
let's talk.
Oh
Go
my.
over here.
Okay. So Jerry Goodman says hello.
Jerry! Oh man, I hope I didn't play too many notes. Let me see if I could find where I am. Here.
Marine
Where's the
Patterson
live stream?
says hi.
I have to find my live stream. My own live stream.
Nancy Sinden. CJ Lay. Hi CJ, how are you? CJ is Sam Lay's grandson, by the way.
Well,
Steve Hoffman from New York, Kentucky.
hey Steve.
Formerly from New York, Kentucky.
Yeah. Steve had us perform for him in Long Island many years ago, Chamber Blues. Now, all I'm seeing, I'm looking for my own stream, and all I'm seeing is our
It's okay, Corky. Just go.
Okay, you tell me what people are saying.
Yeah, I will do so.
Any questions or anything?
And no questions, just people saying hello.
Okay.
So, Cork, do you have another story?
No, I'm all out of stories. I'm only 76. How many stories do you think? Okay, well, here we are. Okay. So I'm looking at the comments. Okay.
People saying hello.
Yeah. Robert Tulchin, can you talk about some of the greats you played with at Mother Blues? Well, yes. My favorite one was when Howlin' Wolf himself came from the south side of Chicago, showed up, brought his family, came and sat in with us, and invited Siegel-Schwall to go on the road with him, and we did it. In fact, I might be able to find a photo for you.
You should tell the story what happened when you went to New York and you stayed at the
Albert
Albert Hotel.
We stayed at the Albert Hotel. And Wolf used to knock on my door every morning at 8 a.m. and we'd go for these long walks. And we're talking January, well...
67.
1967. Yeah, 67. It was very early in 67. Let me look for this photo.
We do have the photo right here, in fact.
Oh, great. Okay, yeah.
That's
This is backstage at Cafe Go-Go in New York, January 1969.
And that's
And this guy here is Jack Myers, who is the bass player on the Hoodoo Man album with Junior Wells and Buddy Guy. That's, of course, Jim Schwall and Howlin' Wolf. And I'm sitting on Howlin' Wolf's knee, and it does look like I just swallowed a canary. Yeah. And there's a late Russ Chadwick, who was our first drummer in Siegel-Schwall. Wow, what a question you asked. See what happens? So let me go back and see what's going on.
Eddy Clearwater. He wants to know memories about his cousin Eddy Clearwater. You loved it.
Yeah,
you loved
In
Eddy.
fact, Eddy used to play. The first time I played with Eddy, it was just him and I. We were playing for Lawyers for the Creative Arts, and I asked him to send me some music, and he sent me this one basic blues shuffle, and I listened to it, and it changed my life, because the rhythm he played was not quite like anything I heard, though it was certainly based on Chicago blues. You know, instead of dun, da, dun, da, dun, da, dun, it was dum, da-dum, 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 a little of that in there, a little of that snap in there. And he's been like a major, major influence on me. I love Eddy so much. Love him so much.
We miss him a lot.
Yeah,
And
cool picture. Yeah, Mary, no kidding.
love to Renee.
Yeah, with Wolf. Oh, you got to open for you in Green Bay, Wisconsin years ago. That's Gregory Allen. Invited me up to sit in. Oh, great. Thanks so much. You know, it's funny, speaking of inviting people to sit in, I was playing at the Quiet Night with Siegel-Schwall, and there was this kid in the audience. The kid took out his guitar and started playing along. And I stopped the band. And I said, hey, kid, you have your nerve playing the guitar in the audience while we're up on here on stage. I said, you should get up here and play with us. It ended up being Steve Goodman. And the following week, he brought John Prine, and they both came and sat in.
So Eddy Holstein is out there. You might want to tell your story about Eddy and Joni Mitchell, and is a great story.
So it's Eddy, say hello to Eddy, everyone. So Joni Mitchell asked Siegel-Schwall to do a demo tape for her, which is actually how she got her record deal. And she talks about us on her website. Not she, but on her website.
Company,
we talk about Siegel-Schwall and this project. Anyway, she came to pick up the tape one time while I was on the road, and she rang the bell, and Eddy went downstairs. Eddy and I were roommates, and he went downstairs, and he said, "Yeah, what do you want?" He says, "Well, I came to pick up the tape." And he said, "Okay," and he goes and gets the tape, and he sticks it out the door, hands it to her, and slams the door. And later we went, "Oh my God, that was Joni Mitchell." So that's at Holstein. Robert Joseph, the drugstore is still open, Robert.
And you should tell the story about when you were playing on the South Side, and different people would sit in, and this.
Yeah, well, everyone
go
by
ahead.
now knows that story.
Well, go ahead. Go ahead. Not everyone.
Okay, let's see. My sister went to high school with Steve Goodman. Okay. I could see we're running out of ideas.
So no, tell the story about Little Walter.
Oh, yeah. So we're playing at Pepper Show Lounge, as you know, in 1965, our first gig, Jim and I, and we had a bass player and a drummer for us. This is an old story. I've told it zillions of times, but all these people started coming in to sit in, like Howlin' Wolf and Muddy Waters, and Willie Dixon and Buddy Guy and Junior Wells. And one day this one guy comes up and he says, "Hey, I'd like to sit in." And I'm thinking, the guy's been drinking. So I said, "Why don't you come back another time when you're feeling better?" And the audience yells, "Hey, let him sit in, and that's Little Walter." And of course it gets a lot worse because I'm thinking, who's Little Walter? So that's how naive we were.
And then after he played, you said...
Yeah, of course, yeah. After I heard him play, I just went, "Oh my God, that's Little Walter." Thank you for the coaching. Let's see who else is writing. I don't know about.
Why don't we do one quick one and then we'll say goodbye?
Well, let's see.
Quick.
Any good stories involving Harvey Mandel?
Yes.
Harvey Mandel.
He's a magnificent player.
Yeah. So Harvey and Nick Revenitis and Barry Goldberg and I are in the airport. We're touring with the Chicago Blues Reunion with Sam Lay also.
And then,
well, you tell the story.
Well, he had buried something.
No. That's not the story I was going to tell.
Oh, okay. Well, that's the funniest one.
You tell the story.
Okay. Well, no, you should tell the story.
Okay. So anyway, Sam is in a wheelchair because we're all pretty old. Harvey has a bad leg. He's in a wheelchair. Nick Revenitis is not feeling good. He's in a wheelchair. So Holly and I and Barry were wheeling these guys along in the airport. And Barry says, "Well, guys, remember, rock and roll? This is the roll part." So let's see what people are saying. And when Judy Collins introduced you, the crowd at Newport, Wow, I don't remember that. That is amazing. This is Sam Bosky. He said he saw us first when Judy Collins introduced Siegel-Schwall to the crowd at Newport. And then he also saw us at the Club 47 and then in the New Penelope in Montreal. Sam, you must be very, very, very old. But yeah, Judy was always so nice to me. I don't remember her introducing us, but that is a great honor. Great honor. Okay, what else? I don't really know how to work this thing very well. Oh, 208 comments. Everyone's talking about seeing me back in the 60s and 70s.
Quick.
Okay, so I think we're going to have to learn more how to do this interchange. And so I'll just play something else. I'll lead this out. So the next time we're going to learn more about how to have conversations with people on the live stream. Haven't figured it out really well yet. So I'm going to say goodbye with something. Oh, I know. A little bit of missing persons. I know Gary Sherman's out there. Gary Sherman did ABC's Missing Persons for television, and I wrote this piece for Chamber Blues, and we called it Missing Persons. I'm just going to play a little of that.
Tell how you met Gary and Joe Renzetti.
How I met Gary and Joe? Okay. So actually, Gary Sherman tells me we met in the 60s, and I have no recollection of that. But when I remember meeting is when I got a call from Gary Sherman and the Academy Award winning musician Joe Renzetti. And they called me and they said they wanted me to be in a movie with Orson Welles. And I was going to play Orson Welles' sidekick. And it's sort of a long story, but so what happened is Orson Welles end up dying, so I never got to do this. And Joe Renzetti and Gary would kept calling and saying, "Don't worry, we're going to do another project." And eventually, we did a project called Wanted Dead or Alive, starring Rutger Hauer, and
who passed away very recently.
Oh, he did. Okay. And so the studio wasn't in L.A. The studio was at Joe Renzetti's home in Upper Eddy, Pennsylvania, in a little log cabin. And all the music for the movie was done there, so I got to hang a couple of weeks with Gary and Joe. And if we weren't close in the 60s, we certainly did become close at that time. And that's how Gary and I met. And we've done a lot of things together since then. He lives in Evanston. He's this famous filmmaker who did The Last Poltergeist and did all these great horror films that he's very, very famous for. And he also did, what else?
Deathline.
Yeah, he did Deathline, and he did Buried Dead... what's it called?
Buried Alive, I think it is.
I'll think of it. But anyway, so a lot of really great movies. So I'm going to play this for Gary, and we'll say goodbye with this. But when you say goodbye, we have a goodbye message somewhere. I just want to make sure I have it ready. Oh yeah, it's over there. Okay. So make sure you end on that, Holly. We got this all planned.
Okay. Persons. The memory of you.
Say goodbye now. Oh, everyone should definitely tune in. Sign up for my newsletter. Go to any of my websites and sign up for the newsletter, and that's how you'll be able to find out when these live streams are happening and when I have new recordings out, and if there's ever live performances ever again, you'll be able to find out by going to the newsletter. Sign up for the newsletter at chamberblues.com.
Hi, Judy. Music. Hi, Judy Garcia.
Hi, Judy Garcia. Come back to Chicago, kid. So chamberblues.com, corkymusic.com. Subscribe, sign up. It's under context if you can't find it. And I'll say goodbye now. Show the goodbye. Stay healthy, everybody. 6 feet of separation.